I am Valérie Jumessi and I am a French entrepreneur. I'm based in Paris. My parents are Cameroonian. I'm the artistic director of our family business, which is called Upgrade Agency. And I am also a consultant in image and a creativity coach. I co-host a podcast with my three sisters and my mother. It is called Les Jums Podcast. I have always been fascinated by the human potential. For me, it is so important to, as a woman and as a man, to be able to realize our dreams. So welcome in mine. It's AMULETTE podcast. It's a 10-minute bubble of courage in French and in English, where I will be talking everything vulnerability, authenticity, and freedom. So make yourself comfortable. Welcome in my dream. This is AMULETTE podcast. Hello you, and welcome in this new episode of AMULETTE podcast. I am Valerie, and I am really glad to have you for the next 10-ish minutes, where I'll be sharing everything from freedom, authenticity, and vulnerability. I don't know about you, but this week has been really hard, especially with everything that has happened around the world. Not that those things were not happening before, it's just that now we are able to see them, to watch them on Instagram, to read them on Twitter, to talk about it on LinkedIn. So yeah, it has been a tough week. I am overwhelmed with everything that I've seen, heard, and read, and my heart is really heavy, I would say, because I feel like we are still 400 years ago. And in a sense, we are. This is called transgenerationality and epigenetics. So the DNA is changing with the environment. Also, we are carrying, of course, things that our ancestors and our lineage have been through. But it's so weird when you have to carry that and also live it in some ways. It's like you are kind of in a double realities, like Inception movie or something. But no, you're not. You are in a reality. I feel like we as a community are going through so much. This first semester has been so intense. And I feel like it's growing more and more intense. And so how can we navigate this time without losing our mind, basically? And to be honest, I don't even quite know where to start. I just feel like if I have something to give in this situation, is time and energy dedicated to remind you that your mental health is really important. Actually, it's so fundamental. I think you need to check on you right now and to see how you are dealing with everything that is happening. And be honest with yourself, because it's going to leave marks in your psyche at some point if you don't take the time to process. And I feel like even though in some ways we are still 400 years ago, we now have tools and ways to understand better the brain and psychology, and maybe to prevent some wounds that are really hard to heal, and if not healed, are really hard to heal when you are the generation after. So I truly believe that the violence in which we are exposed and the abuses in general are going to leave marks, and it's going to be a lot of PTSD. PTSD, basically, it's when you are living through a traumatic event and then you are kind of stuck in this event in the past, and you think that you need to be alert in order to survive this event in the past that is already gone and already passed, but you still think that you are here. Basically, it's like veterans that are coming back to their country and they feel like they are still in the field with bombs and attacks. It's someone who's been living through sexual assaults and thinks that she still has to protect herself from that, so she will be always tense or have some terrors, or maybe she's gonna just numb through food or sex or alcohol or whatever. So PTSD is just a cause of something that has happened in the past. Sometimes you don't even know you have them, so that's the worst part. So yes, I think that we'll have a work to do towards that, and especially for the people who are in the front lines, in the marches, in the social networks, and trying to educate people and trying to give information. There are many ways I think that can help in some ways, and I wanted to share some with you. First of all, don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty if you haven't been to the march or if you haven't post or repost the information. Don't feel guilty because first, guilt won't help you and won't help the movement in general. And also, I think that you can find your own way to participate to that. We don't have to all go do the same thing. And even though I think it's beautiful to have so many people who are willing to go outside and to march and to be there and to give their time and energy to help, support, and show that people are tired of this shit, I also believe that if it's not your thing and if you don't feel comfortable with that, you don't have to do it, and you can find other ways to support that. The second thing that I want to talk about is that it's okay to press pause on the social media right now or the TV if you feel like it's too much information that are messing with your health, your mental health. I did that personally today and yesterday because I felt sick of everything that I was saying. Not because I don't care, it's just that it was too much for me. I couldn't sleep well. I was anxious, I was tense, I was mad, I was sad, I was, So I decided to be out of Instagram for one day and maybe a little bit more. And ever since, I feel much better, to be honest. I feel safer, I feel more at peace, I feel better. And I don't want to stay like this all the time. I think that I want to be active and to share information. Maybe some of the people who are following me on Instagram are not directly concerned about that particular topics, and maybe they don't know what's going on, even though I find it really hard to believe, but who knows? So I feel like I want to be able to share the message, but I also know that it's important for me to take care of myself first, so I can do that without compromising my own health. So if you feel at some point that it's too much, you have the right to be out. It's okay. It really is okay. Third thing that I want to share with you is if you feel a little bit more too anxious and it's too much for you, first of all, you have one of my podcasts that I made on how to unfold your anxiety. So you can go and check this out, and you're gonna have a lot of tools in order to unfold that shit. And the particular thing that I want to talk about is the breath work. That is really, really helping. I personally work following the Wim Hof method, which is just breathwork. So you're gonna breathe, so inhale and exhale for I think 30 rounds, and then you're just gonna hold your breath for maybe 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe more. And after a while, you're gonna feel really, really light and feel like your nervous system is just being a little bit more at peace and you feel much better. So that's something that I recommend, doing some type of breath work and meditation to make sure that you find some peace and security within you when you feel like outside is going all crazy. 4 things that can really help you is to take a shower. Pretty simple. Go and take a shower, a warm one if you want. If you have some essential oils, just use them. Nice music, a music that makes you feel safe and at peace, and then just take a shower. Wash yourself from all this negativity and energy. It doesn't mean that you wash yourself from what is going on and that you don't care. It just means that you're just washing the energy away, because you don't need that to function in your daily life, because no matter what happened, we still have to do that. And the movement is gonna be in need of people who are feeling okay. And if you are in the anxiety part, then take a cold shower really like a cold ash shower. It's gonna help you so much. You're gonna have a lot of adrenaline in your system. When you're out of the shower, you're gonna feel so alive. Then just remember that we as a Black community, but also immigrant community, most of the time have issues as immigrant communities, Black communities, with the mental health, and specifically going to asking for help to heal or to ease our mental health. I think it's so important to talk about this, to talk about mental health in our communities, in our Black communities, in our Arabic communities, in our Spanish communities, all those communities. We are made from the same matters. Whatever our colors and our religion, we are the same. So our brain functions the same. He wants us to survive. He's trying to find the shortest way to make us live and to feel comfortable. Our psychology is kind of the same. So if something is happening to you, traumatic events, it's going to cause maybe PTSD, depending on if you felt like you had the power to change something. You're going to have pretty much PTSD, and then you are going to be either numbing or being into the fight mode all the time or flight mode all the time. So those patterns are just something that is relative to the human condition. So it means that we also need help, especially with everything that is happening, especially with everything we are witnessing every day, especially with the fear that we have to live with. We need help, and it's okay to ask for it. If you're listening to this podcast, it's my hope that you have access to that maybe. So talk to someone who knows how the mind works, because sometimes your brain is going to play tricks on you and you're going to feel like you're going crazy. You're not going crazy. It's just your brain is activating some parts in order to protect you, because that's its job. But if you know how it works, if you know how your brain works, if you find maybe the courage or just time to go and talk to someone who's specialized in helping your mind, then you can understand it. And then it can be your ally and not your enemy. So also, even though it's really hard to say it, or easy, I don't even know, but with all this darkness, there is still a lot of light, and it's really hard because I feel like clouds are just in front of the sun, and it's hard to see because it's so dark. But dark and light have to coexist. There is not one without the other. So I'm sure in some ways you can find ways to see the light even in the darkest time of your life. I'm sure you can find the light, and that's something that I'm trying to do every day. Every day I'm waking up and I'm forcing myself to find reasons why I'm happy to be alive and why I'm happy to be awake. And it's hard because that's not how my brain is wired, but I don't want to keep it that way. I don't want to wake up and be mad. I'm alive. I'm alive. I mean, I'm so lucky to be here. I'm so lucky to be who I am. I could have been somewhere else and someone else and not been in this condition. So I am alive, and I have to pay tribute to being alive and to be happy about that. So I'm working towards that. So I need to rewire my brain. It's not something that is easy, but you can do it. It's just the way it is. Your brain is plastic, so you can do anything with it. So you can also find the light. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose or forget everything that is happening. It's impossible, I think, to forget that. Once you've seen it, you cannot forget it. But it means that you won't lose your hope if every day you're trying to find ways to be thankful and to be like, okay, I'm alive. And that's a gift. Last but not least, if you are here listening to this podcast, it means that you have survived 100% of the things that have happened to you. 100% of the things that have happened to you, you've survived them. And sometimes it's crazy because you're like, wow, yeah, that's true. Even the thing that you thought you could not do or survived, you did. And you are alive. And you are here. And you are a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work hard. And you're gonna change the world if you want. You're gonna change the world if you know you can. So let me tell you, you can. And let me tell you that you're alive. So let me tell you that that's magical. I just wanted to dedicate this podcast to all the people who have lost their lives, and to all the families and the people who have suffered from that, to all the people who have seen stuff that they should not have seen, heard words, insults that they should not have heard, lived situation that they should not have lived. Just know that my heart and my energies and my thoughts are with you, and that I'm thankful for you. So please take care and be safe. We are in this together. That was Valerie for Amulette Podcast.